Hello, and welcome back to Skip the Small Talk. I'm not going to lie, guys, this week has been rough. It's been really not good. I've wanted to record this on Monday and then wasn't well enough. Wanted to record this on Tuesday, wasn't well enough. Wanted to record this on Wednesday, wasn't well enough. And now it's Thursday, and otherwise it's going to be too tight. So I am recording now. I'm still not 100%, so I might be a bit more low energy than normal or than I would like to be. But like I said last week, that's the whole point. This is meant to be low effort, low lift, like no stress, sort of unedited, raw as it comes, as I am, helping me unmask. So now is the perfect time to just do that and just do it when I'm not 100% on energy and I'm just Ellie existing and, maybe not the perfect person that I would want to be, but that's okay. But in light of that, having a pretty awful week, I have decided that this week I think it'd be nice to talk about my SAD toolkit, because I think that's basically this week has been a combination of everything. I think first of all, I'm absolutely burnt out within an inch of my life because of the book launch and everything that's happened in September. Like I literally just haven't stopped and like have even had stuff on like over the weekends and stuff. Like I can't remember, like I've had like 2 days in September, I think, when I've not had an alarm set to like get up and work. So one, big burnout has hit hard. Two, I think because I've been so busy in September, it's like I've just blinked and it's winter. Like I always really struggle at this time of year, but I think it's made it a lot worse that I sort of like missed autumn almost, because like I was so busy that I wasn't like realizing that it was getting cold, and then it's like I just blinked and I'm like, oh god, it's cold and miserable and wet and rainy and awful. So the SAD has kicked in hard. And then 3, you might have seen on socials my horrible video of me sobbing, but basically I came off the pill and it's my first period off the pill since I was 14. So it's been quite a wild ride. We've had hormones, we've had burnout, we've had SAD, everything has hit all at once, and I actually can't remember a week that I've felt as bad as I have this week. Like it's actually been the closest to being like back in mental health crisis that I've been in a really long time, really long time. I've just been sobbing a lot and just feeling generally awful and like not being able to like be around anyone or do anything. So yeah, it's not been fun, but yeah, I think one of the big things is that it's like the SAD has kicked in. Like as soon as it starts getting dark and cold and rainy, I just become so miserable. My throat is just on like croaking now. I've started talking as well now, so apparently I'm getting ill as well, so that's fun. But it's actually like quite sunny today, but generally this week has been rubbish and rainy and cold and dark. So I thought I would like whip out my toolkit of like all of the things that because I know that I struggle around this time of year, and I'm sure that a lot of you do as well. That's actually one, like they tried to diagnose me with SAD before they figured out it was autism and ADHD, but like it probably is SAD as well. Like, and I also think as well, like, why is it classed as a disorder that we're affected by the seasons? Because like, is there any wonder that we feel awful when there's like no sunlight, like it's cold, you can't go outside, you can't like go for a walk, you can't get any fresh air, like you wake up and it's dark and you like come home from work or whatever and it's dark, or like I think it's actually worse being self-employed, because like obviously it's a privilege to not have to go out every day and go to work, but also like sometimes having that like external motivating factor that you like don't have a choice other than to get out and go would probably be helpful, whereas I can just wake up and be like, it's awful, I'm just gonna rot in bed all day and make myself feel 10 times worse. But yeah, I thought I would share with you like my toolkit of the things that I know help, and I think so many of us, these are like the basic, like the most basic things in the whole world, quite similar to like how I felt when writing the book, when I was like, none of these are like rocket science tips, we all just like forget to do the things that are helpful for us. I call it mum advice quite a lot, like it's that annoying mum advice where it's like, basically where that comes from is like my mum's remedy for anything is like have a good night's sleep. Like if you feel ill or if you feel sad or if you're like having a panic attack or if you feel overwhelmed, like anything, if you're just like not good, my mum's advice is have a good, like get an early night, have a good night's sleep. And at the time it feels like the most annoying thing in the whole entire world, because you're like, it feels so like minimizing of like, I'm not just tired, like the world is ending, like please don't just like tell me that I need to sleep, like this is awful, like the world is actually ending. And then you have a good night's sleep and like you actually feel 10 times better. Like it doesn't like solve the root cause of the issue all the time, but it does just make it feel less intense and less like all consuming, like the world's ending. And I feel like there's a lot of advice like that is just like that mum advice where at the time it's like, are you joking? Like it's like the NHS mental health advice of like, have a bath, have a cup of tea, and it feels like when you're in a crisis, it feels like the most annoying thing to hear, but like actually it does sometimes take the edge off, and it doesn't fix the underlying root whatsoever, but it does like just like give you that, like it takes you like right back off the cliff edge. Do you know what I mean? It gives you like one step back from being like the world is about to end to like, okay, it's still pretty damn awful, like all of that stuff is still behind me, but I'm not like hanging over the edge anymore, if that makes sense. So I thought I would share with you my very basic toolkit. I've got my notepad with me because I thought otherwise I would forget, but I'll probably like do an ADHD thing and like start with these and then end up like riffing off onto loads of other things, but we can start with them. I've got 10 like very basic ones to start off with. So my SAD toolkit. Number 1, I'm gonna hold your hand when I say this, right? Get the fuck dressed. I know you don't want to. I know you want to rot all day in your pajamas and wear the same clothes for like 6 days straight, but get dressed. Like, I don't care if you get dressed from pajamas into like another set of pajamas or into a tracksuit or into the comfiest, laziest, slobbiest clothes in the world, right? But just get dressed. It does nobody any good to rot in the same t-shirt for multiple days straight. I am the worst culprit of this, of like, I just like sleep in baggy t-shirts. So then I'll just like throw on some joggers and a jumper over the baggy t-shirt for the following day. No, don't do that. There's no wonder you feel awful. Like you are literally rotting in your clothes. So ideally get a shower if you can. I don't think that's on there, but even if a shower feels like too much, right, get the fuck dressed. Put some clothes on. I don't care if they're clothes that are like presentable to leave the house. I don't care if it's not that nicest outfit you own. Get the fuck dressed. Okay, that's number 1. Number 2, get outside when it's dry or when you can. Like, I don't care if this is a 10-minute walk on your lunch break, right? I don't care if you're not like having like multiple hours and going on long walks and doing like a run or exercise or whatever. Just get some fresh air, please. Fresh air is the solution to everything. Like my friend Millie Gooch, you probably know her. She is the founder of Sober Girl Society. We met through social media, like kind of like we knew of each other, and then we have the same management, so now we're like quite good friends. And I was speaking to her this week, and she said her like motto is never trust a thought you have inside. And I love that one. It's like similar to like never trust a thought you have after 10 p.m. because it's true. It's true that everything feels worse after 10 p.m. And also everything feels worse inside. So never trust a thought you have inside. I'm going to like add that on as like 2A. But get outside. I don't care if you go and stand outside your front door and just like sit on the doorstep and scroll on your phone. At least be outside. Ideally go for a walk. Ideally move your body. But just get outside, get some fresh air. Don't rot all day. And I know like, and I feel like as well, even if it's like, my worst thing is like when I wake up and it's raining, I'm like, right, that's it, I'm stuck inside all day. But even if it stops raining for 10 minutes, like just get outside for what you can, I think is, I feel like I'm literally just like hammering you with like the most basic advice right now, but hopefully it will make it stick, because I think so much of the time we know these things that we just forget or we just don't do them because we get stuck in a rut. Number 3, this one's a bit rogue. A fake tan face mist. There is nothing more, this is like properly like just the most ridiculous problem in the world, but there is nothing more depressing to me than when I look in the mirror and I see my white, pale, pasty, miserable face, and I can like see my eye bags and I just look pale. I look unwell. I look like a sickly Victorian child when I'm pale. And I'm very lucky that when I get in the sunshine, I do get quite a nice colour tan on my skin. And obviously through winter, that fades very quickly. I can't keep up with like a full body fake tan routine. I can't do it. It's too much admin. I don't have that in me to like shower in reasonable intervals, or like it would just be nice for like one day and then I wouldn't scrub it off and it would just be like awful on my skin, and I'm not moisturized enough during the winter, so I can't keep up with a full body fake tan routine. But what I can do is I have like this so cheap, under a tenner, like the cheapest one I could find, face mist fake tan, and you just spray it on before bed, sleep in it, and then wash it off in the morning. And it's not like orange, but it just gives your skin like a healthy glow, so you no longer look like a sickly Victorian child, and it does wonders for my mood. Okay, just looking at myself in the mirror and be like, I went to get my gummy smile Botox done the other day, and the woman was like, oh, where have you been? And I was like, I actually did go on holiday. My face doesn't go this brown. It is just fake tan mist. And it just makes you have that like healthier glow. And it's so easy. Like it's not like a complicated fake tan where you have to like exfoliate and scrub, and you just have to spray it on before bed and that's it. So I would recommend doing that. And then you look at yourself and you think, I look healthy. I look glowing, not I look unwell. I look like I've crawled out of a tomb. So that's my very like sort of white girl tip of the year, buy a fake tan face mist. Number 4, drive in the car and sing. Go for a drive somewhere. This is like the alternative to if it's pissing it down and you can't go and sit on the doorstep and just be outside, at least get in the car and drive somewhere, okay? My auntie, I feel like I'm just like stealing everyone's advice in this, but that's okay. My auntie Cheryl, she once said to me, she was like, oh, I think I tweeted about like just singing in the car. I won't sing anywhere, right? You could not pay me 100 grand to do karaoke. It is my worst nightmare, singing and being perceived singing. Like, I will scream my heart out at a gig, but no one can hear me because the band's playing. But like, I cannot sing, right? My voice is not pleasant. But when I'm in the car on my own, or even with my mum or my brother or my dad, I will scream at the top of my lungs. And I think I must have tweeted about this. And my auntie Cheryl said, that's my like sort of radar on my scale for knowing like if I'm okay or not. Like, if you're able to sing in the car, then life must not be that bad. Like, that is like the sort of the thing of where you can feel that you're coming out of the pits of like, if I'm singing in the car, then like it can't be bad. And I like that one. And not only is it true of like a good test, but also for me, I feel like that's the best. Like, there's nothing that regulates my emotions or gets me out of like fight or flight like screaming along in the car to music. And it's the best place. Like, people say shower singing, but you can still be perceived in the shower. Like, people in the house or your neighbours or whatever can still hear you. When you're screaming your lungs out in the car, no one can hear, right? If you're driving like down the motorway, music's on full blast, screaming your heart out, you are not being perceived, and you can just like literally like, I actually heard that it's a good stimming thing in singing, because like when you're like belting singing, like the vibrations in your throat actually like do something to your vagus nerve, so it actually like triggers your parasympathetic nervous system. I think I'm getting that the right way around. Basically, it actually physically takes you out of fight or flight, as well as mentally just being the best thing in the world to scream your heart out. So get in the car and sing. Or, I mean, if you don't drive, then I'd settle for the shower. But singing, go to a field and sing. I don't care. Scream your heart out. Number 5 is sort of related, but my other one, if I'm not able to get in the car and scream my heart out, is just having one song on repeat on my headphones all day. Like, pick a song, whether it's like a new song that you've not heard before, whether it's like an old fave that you've not listened to in a while. Pick a song, put your headphones on full blast, and just have it on repeat all day. It is the most self-soothing thing in the whole entire world. Yesterday, the whole way up, where I'm at the caravan, I'm actually in my uncle's caravan, which is like a few down from my mum and dad's caravan, but we're on the way up to Edinburgh. I'm doing an event in Edinburgh tonight, so we stayed here because it's like 1 hour on the train from the caravan to Edinburgh. Anyway, I all the way up in the car with, if I'd have been driving, I would have been screaming and having the music on full blast. Unfortunately, my dad was driving, and my dad doesn't like loud music when he's driving, and probably doesn't like my voice either. But yeah, I just had my headphones up all the way, listened to This Place by Jamie Webster, which is a very good song. I like it a lot. But yeah, just one song on repeat on blast, and it has to be like a song that you, ideally a song that you like could scream along to. Do you know what I mean? It's got to be like a belter. That's number 5. We're halfway through. I hope this advice is like sort of helpful. It is very much mum advice. Like, I'm not saying this is something groundbreaking that you've never heard of before, but it's one of those where it's like, just do it. Just get up and do it, and it will actually help. Number 6, I don't know if this counts. This is a bit of a cheating one, really. Literally anything other than scrolling on your phone. My screen time in the last couple of months, or the last month at least, has been horrendous, right? When I'm tired and when I'm drained and when I'm burnt out and when I'm running on empty, all I want to do is numb myself by scrolling. And it feels like it should soothe you, because you just like lie there and you scroll and you have all of this like stimulation poured into you. But I've never ever come away from like a scrolling pit and felt good. Like, I do it with the thing, I'm like, oh, I just need to numb myself. I promise you it's actually not helping. Like, I promise you it's not soothing me. It's not like letting my brain switch off. I've never ever come away from scrolling feeling better than I did when I started. Like, I always start off not feeling great, then I scroll, then I feel worse. So I don't care what that is. Like, it can be podcast, it can be a YouTube video, it can be playing games on your phone if you want, but just get off that scroll pit. When you go, like, you watch a few videos on TikTok and then you close it, and then you move over to Instagram and you watch a few videos, and then you move over to Twitter and you scroll through. Like, get out of that scrolling loop. I know it feels like it's soothing, I know it's all you want to do, but I promise you will feel worse. Like, literally any other form of stimulation. I'm not judging you for being on a screen, I'm not judging you for being in bed, like, I'm not judging you for being low energy and wanting to be soothed, but just, I beg, don't try and soothe yourself with short form videos. It does not soothe you, it makes you feel worse. So yeah, podcast, YouTube video, like an online course. I just started Grace Beverley's business course. Do I want to launch a business? No. Is it something that's going to occupy me and stimulate me for multiple hours? Yes. What else? Like a film, a series, like an audiobook, a book, like literally anything. I don't care how you soothe yourself. Just don't have it be the scroll pit, please. I beg. Does that count? Yeah, I think that's a good tip. Literally, do literally anything other than scrolling. Board games are another one. This is not another tip. This is part of anything other than scrolling. Lewis, my brother, we talked about Lewis last time. I promise this podcast it might be a dedication to Lewis, who cares? I'm going to try and get him to join me on some episodes because I think like he is the most person that I'm the most me around, and I feel like you would love him. Like everyone that meets Lewis loves him, so I feel like I'm going to try and get him to do an episode with me. However, Lewis's new thing, he's quit social media, right? He went sober, like not last New Year's Eve, the New Year's Eve before, like he's nearly been sober for 2 years. And then his newest thing about 3 months ago was that he was going to quit social media as well, because he knew that wasn't having a good impact on his mental health. And he's actually done it. Like he's actually quit social media. But his new thing is like board games. Like him and my mum play Scrabble like every night after tea, because it's just like something to like relax to that isn't sat scrolling on your phone. So whack out the board games. I actually enjoy Scrabble, but I have to play like speed Scrabble. Like I don't care if I get a rubbish score. I want to find a word quickly, I want to put it onto the board, and I want to move on. But yeah, board games, jigsaws, I don't care, anything, literally anything other than scroll. Okay, we've got that one clear. Number 7, go to a charity shop. This is my favourite because 1, you never know what you're going to find. 2, there is something sort of linked to 1, but 2, there is something so satisfying about finding something good in a charity shop, because it's like a treasure that you found, rather than like you could walk into a normal shop and like you're obviously you know what you're gonna find, whereas a charity shop, like you could find the most random like trinket or like dress or top or book or DVD or whatever, and it just feels so satisfying, because it feels like it's difficult to feel like that wasn't meant to find you, because it's in a charity shop. Like what are the chances that someone donated this thing to this shop and I happened to walk into the shop before somebody else came and took it, and like that perfect item, it was waiting for me, it was meant for me. Like I don't care, it could be the silliest, like it could be a mug that you like, but it feels like it was meant for you. And also you get that dopamine hit of buying something new, which is like compounded by the fact that you feel like this thing was meant for you, because the chances are quite low of finding it in a charity shop. But also you've spent like 50p, so you get that dopamine shopping spree splurge hit without actually breaking the bank. Like you can easily leave the charity shop with a bag full of dopamine hits for a £5. Maybe you can't afford a £5. I know it's rough times, but the likelihood is it's more likely that you're going to be able to afford that dopamine splurge rather than a full shopping spree. But it still gives you, arguably, I think you get more of a hit from a good charity shop spree than you would from going out to like a designer shop and buying something really expensive, because it's just fun and you never know what it's going to be and it feels like it's meant for you. Number 8, be around humans. This is the one that I need to learn from the most. Okay, when I feel rubbish, I don't want to be around anyone, because I feel like I am just not good company. Like who wants to be around me when I can't stop crying, right? Nobody. I feel like I'm just going to bring the mood down. I'm going to make it awkward. I feel like it's like half burden that I don't want people to worry about me, but half is like just the fact that I'm just going to be awful company. Like you're not going to have a good time if I'm like quiet or crying or whatever it is. But trust me, like the people that love you don't care. Like I could go and sit at my grandma's house in silence and she would just be happy to have me there. Like she doesn't care if I'm like, obviously it's not nice to see me when I'm like in the pits, but like realistically she'd rather me be there and silent than not there at all. And I just think, like, I'm not saying that you have to like be up to like fully like socializing and making plans. Like just, I don't care if you don't even make plans with a specific person, just be around humans. Like go to the cinema, go and sit in a cinema that is like, oh, this is kind of related. I've got another one that's similar to this, but go sit in the cinema, right? You don't have to talk to anyone. You don't have to be perceived in any way. You can go in your comfy clothes. You can put a scarf around your head, but just go and sit in the cinema and be in a room where other humans are. Like that was the worst thing for me last winter, that I lived alone and I would just be like feeling horrendous in this cold flat on my own with no like human presence, and it's not good for you. We weren't made to like rot on our own. So yeah, even if you don't feel up to like actually properly socializing or like making like ideally make plans with your friends in the evening, go for some food, throw a dinner party. Like I'm not saying a full dinner party, invite your friend round for tea is what I'm saying. Go round to your friends for tea, like go for a coffee in the evening, go sit in your car and have a coffee with somebody. Ideally, yes, do those things, like actually be sociable. But if that's too much, like just be around humans, like go to the cinema, go sit in a coffee shop, go anywhere that's not on your own at home, where other humans are going to be. Number 9, eat something sweet. This could be controversial. Someone's probably going to try and cancel me for saying sugar isn't good for ADHDers. I don't care. Sorry, I don't care. I don't care. When I am stressed, when I am overwhelmed, when I'm not feeling good, I cannot stomach savoury food, right? The thought of eating something savoury gives me the ick. The first thing that goes for me is meat. I can't deal with the texture of meat when I have like any sort of stress in me, other than like I can do like chicken nuggets because they're not like, I'm not biting into meaty texture. Like it's already been like, I could do like shredded meat, or I can do chicken nuggets. Do you know what I'm saying? But I couldn't like bite into a chicken breast when I'm stressed. But when I get really stressed, right, I cannot stomach anything savoury. The thought of like sitting down and eating a meal, no. But what I can eat is like toaster waffles are my go-to, cereal, yogurt and granola, baked oats. And it's better for me to eat one of those things than to not eat at all, right? So I don't care if everyone's going to be like, oh, you can't just eat shit. It's going to be, I'd rather you eat something. Okay, eat something sweet. It's going to give you a little pick me up, and it's something in your stomach rather than nothing in your stomach. Okay, eat something sweet. Toaster waffles. I want my dream partnership, right? Manifesting gods, listen up right now. Any PRs that are listening to this, listen up right now. The McVitie's toaster waffles. I'm sure they're McVitie's. I'm sure they are. The yellow ones. I have lived off those for 10 years, okay? They're the only thing that has sustained me up to this point. If you need someone to promote toaster waffles and have a lifelong subscription to toaster waffles, I'm your gal. But yeah, eat something sweet. Let yourself eat something sweet. It's better to eat something sweet. It's better to have a bowl of Cocoa Pops than it is to not eat, okay? So just eat something sweet. Number 10, I feel like this is a bit of a cheat because it was kind of similar to number 8, but go sit in a cafe, I put, which is similar to go sit in a cinema. Like, I don't care where you sit, just be in a space with other humans. But actually, I'm going to sort of like change this to go sit in a cafe through the day and work at a cafe. If you're a work from home person, sorry, I know working from home, like, don't get me wrong, I'm a big work from home advocate. I think it's necessary for so many people to make work accessible. People who are disabled, chronically ill, neurodivergent, all those things. People who have like are carers, people who have children, all of these things. I'm a big work from home advocate generally, okay? In winter, working from home all day, every day isn't good for you. You don't leave the house while there is daylight. You wake up, it's dark, you sit down at your table all day, you work, it's dark, you go to bed. I could go for probably like 3 or 4 days without leaving the house last winter when I lived on my own, and that is not good for you. So I would say, like, if you can, even if you're gonna just sit with your headphones on all day, go out and be in a warm cafe where you can actually be in warmth because you're not worried about your heating bills because they're paying it. You can just sit in a warm room with your headphones on and do the work that you would have done. So I feel like it ties a few together actually, because it's like you have to get dressed. You have to go outside because you have to leave the house to go to the cafe, and then you're sat around humans all day and you're sat in warmth all day, right? Not like freezing with like a blanket over your legs because you're trying to. My flat, I cannot describe to you, right? I miss my flat. I loved my flat. I cannot describe to you how cold that flat was. It was impossible to make it warm in winter because, first of all, it was on the ground floor, so all the heat just used to like go up and into other flats, I assume. Then the ceiling was like double height ceiling, so again, all the heat would just rise to the top. And then it was red brick as well, so the full wall, double height, was a window, so all the heat would just leave. And it was red brick and very cold. And then it had like tiny little electric heaters in it. So even if I had them on all day, every day, the flat would not be warm, and they used to cost an absolute fortune. My electric was on one of those keys where you plug it in, like you have to go and like top up your key and plug it into the thing, and it would literally use like £10 a day. So I would just be like, oh, it's just me, so I'll just like put a blanket on and a gilet on and all of these things to like keep myself warm rather than trying to heat up this massive apartment. No, that's not good for you. It's not good for you to sit in a cold room all day. But it's necessary for a lot of people because like cost of living crisis and electric is ridiculously expensive. So go use someone else's electric. Go sit in a cafe. You can buy a coffee and you can sit there and work and be around humans and be warm and feel nice. That's my 10. I feel like this was like you're going to be like, thanks, Ellie, I learned literally nothing. But I feel like sometimes the most basic advice is actually the stuff that helps the most. Like, just treat yourself like a plant, okay? You need sunlight, you need hydration, you need care, you need the right environment, you need very basic things. You are a complicated creature. We're all very complicated. I am particularly complicated. However, at the same time, I'm also very simple. Like, it doesn't take a lot to change everything. Go for a run if you can. If you can't go for a run, go for a walk. If you can't go for a walk, sit on the doorstep. Just like go back to the basics of like, I need air, I need sunlight, I need sleep, I need warmth, I need comfort, I need community, I need connection. And you can't go far wrong. Yeah, I kind of feel a bit better for talking about this. I feel like I sort of maybe blacked out for the last half an hour. Maybe I was masking really heavily in this episode. If so, I apologise. I don't know. But yeah, it's not nice. Like, I guess my main thing is like, you're not alone if you feel awful. Like, this time of year, I always feel horrendous. And like, the most amazing things can be happening in my life. Like, I can have like moments of like real happiness and joy and excitement. Like, this week I've like had so many and exciting things happen. Like, the Stanley partnership was very cool. Like, this podcast, we got into the charts last week. What the heck? I was not expecting that at all, because it was such like a shitty first draft, and it's so like low key and like basic and not like a produced podcast with a team who know what they're doing and like are going to promote it and all this stuff. Like, it was literally just me like, hi, I actually just like sat down and impulsively started a podcast. So yeah, that was really exciting. I announced my talk at Oxford, which, what the heck, I'm doing a talk at Oxford Uni. I dropped out of high school and now I'm doing a talk at Oxford Uni. So like, all of these things can happen, and I can feel like excitement and joy for moments, but like my baseline over winter is just like miserable. Like, it's the bar is down here, and then I can have spikes where I feel good, but like my baseline mood is like the lowest of the low in winter. And I genuinely think that like, so I'm going traveling at the start of next year. You maybe know that, you maybe don't. I might actually do a podcast on that soon. But yeah, I'm going traveling at the start of next year. But then after that, when I come back from Southeast Asia, I genuinely think that I might move somewhere like in Europe, because then I'm close enough to be able to come back for work stuff if it's important and to see family and stuff. But just having sunshine, honestly, I cannot tell you the impact that it has on my mental health. Like, I always joke, like, I'm always like, oh, like sunshine Ellie and winter Ellie are two different people, but they seriously are. Like, they seriously are different people. Like, my happiness is just completely different when I'm in this. Like, I spent 4 days in Santorini, not last week, the week before. 4 days, and I was like, this is what it feels like to be a human being again. Like, I can breathe, I can think creatively, I can feel emotions, like I can think about something that isn't just like my head is down and like the day-to-day stress and like get through the day and do this thing and do this thing and do this thing. I can actually like think big picture, and I can just feel like a human again. So yeah, don't beat yourself up if you're feeling rubbish, because it's the changing of seasons. I think change always affects us as well. And just winter is just shit, isn't it? I'm sorry, it just is. It's just awful. It's actually really nice today, so I feel like a bit of a phony recording this right now, but I don't think I would have been able to when it was miserable. Didn't have it in me. But yeah, I hope any of those little tips feel helpful. Please leave your favourite ones in the comments. It was so nice to see all your comments last week. Like, it helped with RSD a lot, because it was like, oh no, people actually do like this. So yeah, please tell me your other like mum advice or your best SAD tips in the comments. I might do a little like roundup and collection of them and post them on like the Unmasked Instagram or something like that. And yeah, I'll see you next week. Hope this was helpful in some way and I haven't just blabbed and masked for half an hour. Yeah, see you soon. I hope you feel okay if you don't feel amazing. And yeah, love you. Bye.